Junkie Nation, what's going on? Gorgeous George and Goes are back with Chris Wade, another superstar from the sport of mixed martial arts. He's a featherweight who competes in the PFL, and PFL has their next wave of regular season events coming up here in June across the ESPN family. You can always go to the schedule tab on MMA Junkie, and you'll know exactly what time they start, who's on the card, all that good stuff. The important thing is Chris is facing Ryoji Kudo, excuse me. I'm pronouncing the R almost like a Portuguese here. And they're going to be fighting on this fight card that's headlined by Brendan Loughnane and Jesus Pinedo. Welcome back, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's good to see you both. It's good to speak to you both.
You too.
I
want to peel back the curtain a little bit before the show started. I go, hey, how are your spirits? How you feeling? And here's why I asked. I think you know us well enough that our questions are never with the intent of railroading an athlete or anything like that. We ask honest questions. I think what fans and media want to know. And here's what I saw, Chris. I've seen a guy that's been punching the clock for a long time. You had that run, obviously, the year before, where you made it to the finals. Didn't work out. But man, you came back with 2 strong wins the following year, and you did it again, which shows me an ability to refocus, and concentrate on the task at hand, put the past behind them. Okay, good stuff, right? The fight against Bubba recently, it seemed like it was emotional and all that, but at some point it looked like when you lost, I was trying to read your body language, like, man, like this one was a tough one to lose, you know what I mean? And I imagine what happens is it's another training camp. It's another situation where like you got to rebuild, and so the athletes as they get older, the maybe the body's not the same. And that's why I was asking, how are you going to rebuild off this one? You've proven that you can do it before, but how are you coming off of this one going forward? Just because when I look at the standings, there's a task at hand here in June to get in there and get some work done so you can put yourself in the position to make those playoffs.
Absolutely, there's some pressure, right? But if I couldn't handle a little bit of pressure, then I wouldn't have been here for a long time now. I think that I was battling some things, battling some things in my personal life leading up to that Bubba fight that I don't want to go into. But the fight fans and you guys don't get to see that. You just see the me that looks like he's in shape and he looks like he's focused, and you watch it and you kind of just either scratch your head at the performance, or you're, like, wow, they perform really well. You don't get that human layer of insight. And I've spent some time mentally trying to just get myself into a better place, and I think I'm there now, and I'm motivated. I'm back, man. The Long Island Killer is back.
That's great to hear. And like I say, your track record proves that you can come back, you start new win streaks, and you deliver. And, whether it's avenging a loss or getting past a certain style, you definitely have done it in the past. And now here, again, it's a little different because if you win, you could possibly win and not make the playoffs. So it's not like we know that you don't always try for the finish. This goes for all guys that may have just come off a decision, loss or win or whatever. But is there what's called more of a risk-taking game plan because of the math involved here, and you probably needing a 5 or a 6 to stave off those guys that had their 3s already, that could coast to a 3 as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's the reality is absolutely there, right, in the structure of this format. So I think that I need to be willing to go into the fire, and I've already spoken to friends, I've spoken to family, I've spoken to my coaches, and listen, you guys know me, you know my track record. I got 31 professional fights, right? And I've never been stopped. I've never been really, never much has happened other than somebody kind of stalling on me to win a fight. except for maybe Brendan in the first Schultz fight. I don't really feel like there's ever been a time where somebody wasn't just trying to tick the clock away to get a win over me. With that being said, there's no room for that in this fight. I cannot afford to go down in some type of like slow, dragged out, back and forth, grappling heavy situation. I need to be okay with the risk of going out on my own shield. And I told everybody, like, I just want to let you know somebody's going down. It's me or it's him, but somebody's going down.
And Kudo's in the same boat. He obviously needs a first round stoppage or second round stoppage as well. So he's gonna definitely be coming after you. So I feel like there's gonna be risk taking on both sides, and that's gonna make for an exciting fight. Let me put one last position, put you one more position here that I've always been curious about. We'll often see a guy go out, light someone up, and that other person's staggered, right? And so obviously you guys are in fight or flight mode. You're fighting for your life in front of millions of people in your underwear, on TV and in person, right?
Yeah.
And I see some fighters go in and go for it and try and finish with the strikes that put them in that position. And then I see other guys go to the takedown because now they're hurt and maybe they can strangle them because that person, they may not have adequate submission defense because, again, they're clearing the cobwebs. Have you trained that? Have you either been in that position where you regretted a mistake that you made or seen others do it? And have you trained exactly what you're going to do so that, because in my opinion, it seems like stick with the strikes. Well, what do I know? I'm just some dude at home with popcorn and beer watching you guys.
Yeah, I mean, look at the fight with Brendan, right? I head kick him halfway to Narnia in the first round, and he goes a little bit limp, tries to grab me, and I make this huge mistake of just like driving into this guarded situation, and he grabs me by my back of my head. He starts healing me in the kidneys, trying to hang on, and then he pushes me away when he recovers. I mean, dude, honestly, if that's a street fight, I kick him in the head and he's wobbled and he tries to grab me, I throw him on the floor and I probably soccer kick him in the head twice and the fight's over. But there's a rule set, and sometimes that rule set changes where you want to take things. But I made a big mistake there. I should have stayed over the top of him. It should have been open ground and pound. It should have been like Cerrone style kicks to his body and legs from standing. What you said in that killer mentality is what needs to be done, especially in this format. You need to, like with that fight with Bochniak, head kicked him, he dropped. The difference was he turned towards his belly and I hit him like 15 times in 5 seconds. Brendan grabbed me and pulled me kind of like on top of him, was able to survive and get his wits back about him. Game of inches, man. Little things change everything, but the mentality is what you spoke of. It's you smell blood, you go in for the kill. There is no wrestling through something.
Chris, we've talked to you so many times about your personal mindset, but I want to ask you something a little different this time because I got to thinking, I try to put myself in your shoes and how I would approach this fight, and I go crazy because there's just so many different ways of looking at it. So I got to thinking, what's your coaching mindset? How does the team look at things? Because at the end of the day, you got a lot of experience. You've been here before. You're a great fighter. As a coach, is it more about just making sure you're prepared, but night of, do they just kind of take the leash off a little bit and let you handle your business?
Yeah, I think I've earned my stripes in that regard as a veteran, where they just want to see me prepare. They want to see that I'm ready for certain things that may present itself in the fight. that I'm prepared for what the person goes to the most. And then aside from that, they just want to see me be in a positive state of mind, in a motivated state of mind. They know that when I'm going right, when I'm the best version of myself, when I have that like Long Island killer mentality, that there's not that many people on this earth at this weight class that can handle me, that could beat me on one of my good nights. My coach LaFleur was talking to me about it. He's like, listen, man, we were in the hallway after the fight, and I was just like apologizing to him for the way I performed out there. He's like, don't ever apologize to me, man. You're the one in there. He's like, listen, man, your whole career, he's like, 70% of it has been amazing. You've been this animal. You've shown crazy physical and mental attributes. He's like, and then there's this like 25% of the time, there's this other guy, that just can't get it going. He's like, let's just make sure that in this next fight that the killer is back. And I was like, that resonated with me.
Chris, so I feel like the switch has already been flipped, but is there another switch as you get closer to the fight? I know some fighters say, when I get there to the location, something changes in me after weigh-ins. Everybody has like a different time. I just feel like you're in game mode now, but is there even another level that we're waiting on that's going to happen here in a couple weeks?
There's another level. This level is nothing. The place that I'm going to take myself to is going to be a special place, and it's hard. You can't get there or go there all the time, but I promise you guys, everybody listening, that watch this fight, because this is one where I need to leave my stamp on and show the world, what I'm capable of when I'm at my most aggressive, when I'm at my most motivated, and when people write me off, when people turn their back on me, I thrive in that shit. I really do. And that's the place I'm at right now.
The Long Island Killer. We're looking forward to it. We've seen you do it before. We definitely expect to see it again. Um, and before we go, as you know, we like other sports just like you do. We always chime in. I see your Mets second place, doing well in the East. The Knicks are in the playoffs. They dropped that first game, but this is game 2 versus the Heat. How you feeling about that one, since that's the most pertinent one out of them all? Do you get Julius Randle back today, and can they get the job done against the Heat?
Is Jimmy playing tonight? Is he gonna suit up?
Ooh, that's right. He got hurt at the end.
He rolled his ankle, and I saw the point spread went up. And I really listen. We were leading like most of that game, and they just fell apart. So I really think we got to get Randall back out there. I think that a couple of these guys need to step up. They've just been flat out choking, like they've been gone non-existent quickly. You haven't seen anything from the guy. So, I mean, Barrett has stepped up. He needs to keep playing. He needs to keep being aggressive. But I'm also a big Ranger fan. So I had my family here last night. We took a big L in Game 7 to the Devils, laid a total egg. It just goes to show you, sports are wild, man. Every night is so different. It's the same with fighting, right? Like half the series, the Rangers look like world beaters, dropping 5-6 goals a game on them. Nobody could keep up with them. And then on the nights that they couldn't get it going, they couldn't find the net. If it was the broadside of a barn, they could not get the puck past that guy last night. And the Knicks, I know this is a winnable series, and it would mean so much to New York if they could get to the conference finals. I mean, the energy in this city on Long Island would just be amazing. And I really think they're going to do it. I think they're going to do it in 7. I think they're going to win it in 7.
All right. We'll definitely be tuning in. It's a huge market, and I know that you guys have been fiending for a season like this to get in the playoffs, to make a move. It's been years. This is an old rivalry from the 90s that a
Yep.
lot of people don't know about. Very heated back in the day, no pun intended.
Well, I
But
remember it.
it
I
brings back
remember
some
it.
memories of that stuff, man.
Yep.
By the way, all the Sharps were on the Rangers. A lot of people thought the Rangers were going to bring it home yesterday as well. I closed the parlay to the Rangers, so I was a little bummed out at 2-0. I go, oh man, it's not looking good. But I guess the final score was 4-0. Let me ask you something about that. You're on Long Island, and you got the Islanders, who are also they
Like,
recently got bounced in the playoffs.
yeah.
How did you associate with the Rangers, more the city team, I don't know, than the actual Islander team? Or do you also cheer for the Islanders just a little? How'd you handle that growing up?
So to be honest with you, I'm born in '87, and when I was young, I got just through my friend group, I got really into hockey. I was playing roller hockey. I was just all about hockey as like a 6-year-old kid, 7-year-old kid. And right at that time was when Messier and the Rangers won that cup in '94. And being a little kid, being impressionable, even though my dad was taking me to some Islander games, like all my buddies were Ranger fans and they were playing really well, and I just
I
went
remember
that
those
way.
games.
But I'm a
Yeah.
loyal dude and I'm not a fair weather guy. So once I make a decision on something, like I stick with that. So I said to myself, I'm not gonna just like once I pick this, I'm not gonna just turn back and be like, oh, the Islanders are good though, and I'm from Long Island. So I just stuck with my guns and I decided like, nah, you picked this when they were riding a high, just like all these Yankee fans did that are my age. They're all front runners that, stuck with it. And I said, even though it was only one cup, I'm gonna stick with them. I'm gonna ride with them for the rest of the time.
If I recall, because you were born the year I graduated from high school, and if I recall, in the 80s, the Islanders had some squads, and there was a guy named Mike Bossy, I think, probably a
Yep.
legend in your neck of the woods.
Yep.
Really, really good player. But
Yeah, what
anyway,
they have, the 4 cups or 4 cup
something like that.
finals, it was something crazy. Yeah.
It was either them or Gretzky. Somebody was raising a cup
Yeah,
back then.
yeah, every year, right?
Crazy times. Yeah. All right, my man. Well, hey, it's great catching up with you. And again, we can't wait to see you fight in June. PFL will have their next run of fights coming up, folks. In June, PFL 4, 5, and 6. This first one will involve featherweights and light heavyweights. So you definitely want to tune in, because not only are the fights great, they got great fighters, and the positioning of the standings means there's going to be certain strategies going in, guys going for it just a little bit more than usual, a little bit more risk taken. And you should tune in. PFL is a great organization. Thanks, Chris, for the time as always.
Thank you guys. Wishing you a speedy recovery. Can't wait to
Thank you,
talk
sir.
to you again soon.
All right,
And
we'll talk.
always good to
Sounds
speak
good.
with you both.
Thank you, sir.
You too, sir.